In the old days, they say that the mother-in-law's responsibility was to always excuse herself if her son-in-law was going to come and visit. And some even joke about it and say that she used to have to wear a bell, a cowbell or a small bell. When it would ring, the son-in-law would know that his mother-in-law was in the neighborhood and he would also not come in contact with. The Navajo didn't know that she had Hadan nedo hajaan haye had that the she had got ego haban sa case. That's get up in the Tinashi Jody by the bank is not waiting at all this. Told what ego she had that hard she the net the house the leggy got the she ego being done his nest ha. I called the hot egg ego. The Hadan nedo hajaa that ego haban see case the nenny cleaning. In the traditional teachings of our people, the way that we respond to our in-laws, our brother-in-law or our sister-in-law, or anybody that's married into our clan, we have a certain way that we are told that we must treat them. And there's a special relationship between a son-in-law and a mother-in-law. The son-in-law and the mother-in-law should never see each other, is the traditional teaching. That in the old days, they say that the mother-in-law's responsibility was to always excuse herself if her son-in-law was going to come and visit where she was going to be at. And some even joke about it and say that she used to have to wear a bell, whether it was a cowbell or a small bell, I don't know, but they used to say that she had a bell and that, so that when it would ring, the son-in-law would know that his mother-in-law was in the neighborhood and he would also not come in contact with. I shared a story with our viewers way back in the beginning of our presentations that we were making a couple of years ago. And I talked about the son-in-law that was very, very good to his mother-in-law, even though he never saw her, never ever went near her. And so they never saw each other. And so when the mother-in-law was a very elderly lady, she says, one thing I would like to do before I pass on. She says, I want to meet my son-in-law. And so he went into her where she was being prepared to pass on. And she told him how much she appreciated him. And of course, she also asked him if he would carry her out into the sunlight and let her enjoy the sunlight for the last time. But that's just one story of the relationship between son-in-law and the mother-in-law. But there's also the sister-in-law or the daughter-in-law. The in-laws and the families of the ne is that you are supposed to protect your brother-in-law or your sister-in-law. And protect them means any kind of negative comments from other places. They used to say, if you make negative comments about somebody's son-in-law or brother-in-law, that they have the right to strip you of your clothing or your belongings and your necklaces and whatever you're wearing. Hadati is what they used to say. And it was perfectly acceptable to do that when you offended a family because of their son-in-law or their daughter-in-law. And the tradition was very strong in protecting the in-law, whether it be the male or whether it be female. And so the way that I appreciate the son-in-law or brother-in-law is my own experiences with my brother-in-laws and my in-laws. I always remembered how to treat my sister-in-law or my brother-in-law. I had some very special relationship with my one of my brother-in-laws. He passed on here several years ago, but he's the one that got us into this interest in pursuing this sharing of teaching of the teachings of our people, Navajo traditional teaching. My brother-in-law married to the oldest of my surviving sisters, and his last name was Baldwin. But he was raised out there somewhere in the southern parts of the country. So he spoke English with a sort of an Okie or Texas accent, and that's where I heard the word first, y'all. And even his children to this day always say y'all. It always reminds me of him. But I treated him very nice, and I treated him the very best I could as a person. And he always respected my mom and respected my father. I remember he was not any way similar to the way Navajo people propose nowadays. He proposed after he asked my mother and my father if he could have the hand of their daughter. And that was something that was very important to me. It was, we're getting away from the old traditional way where marriages are arranged. But this young man had enough courage to go to my mother and father and ask for the hand of my sister. And thereafter, he took care of her and took care of their family. And he was very educated. And I always listened to what he would say, and I always protected him, even against my sister. I remember sometimes when I would see my sister, I said, "Give Jonas a wet one for me." Give him a good hug. But I love my brother-in-law, just as I love my sister-in-law and all my other in-laws, and that I always protected them. I never, ever said anything negative. And then comes to my wife, how she was protected by my brothers and my sisters and my mother and my father. They never, ever spoke negative of her. And when there was any kind of situation that might cause some kind of negative response in the family, she always had the full support of my family, even though they would oppose me. And I accepted that, and I respected that, because I understood that they were doing it in the traditional way to protect their sister-in-law. And to this day, I let those teachings mean something to me. And so I want to share with the young people, even though your brother-in-law, your sister-in-law might be completely something different, if they acted honorable to you in taking your sister's hand or proposing to your, or having them establish some kind of relationship with the family before marriage or getting together, that you respect and honor that man or that woman as an in-law and follow the traditional teachings of our people. And those are the things that we are told.
Hey, thanks for watching our videos. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss one of our uploads. Also, head over to our website, NavajoTraditionalTeachings.com. Sign up for our email list. Okay.